Rome controlled its provinces, controlled the barbarians through the use of force, through its legions. And in fact, if you look at the Roman legions, they were superbly led and were unbelievably capable as a fighting force. But what is the use of having Roman legions if you can't get them to where they need to go and to get them there quickly? Of course, what you need for that is an infrastructure. You need a road infrastructure in order to be able to get people to where they need to be fast. If you look through Europe today, you can still see the remnants of the Roman roads. And in fact, in English, we often have that expression, all roads lead to Rome. This comes from that perspective of using the Roman roads and the ways in which you can get soldiers then to wherever they need to go very quickly. Well, the same thing is true in terms of the scriptures then, is that because of those roads and because of the commerce that then those roads empowered as well, what you end up with is the spread of information very quickly. In fact, if you read the if you read the New Testament, you realize that even by the time Paul wrote to the church in Rome, which most probably was only about 30 years after Jesus, there's already a thriving Christian community in Rome. How did that happen so quickly? Well, the reason why it happens quickly is because people are able to travel. In fact, on the day of Pentecost, when we hear about the festival or the feast, which is of course the feast of Shavuot, which is happening at that time in Jerusalem, it mentions that the people who listen then to Paul's first sermon, or Peter's first sermon rather, is that as he then preaches that first sermon, it tells you where all the people come from who are listening. And if you actually put those on a map, you realize that it's throughout the whole Roman and ancient world. The people were able to travel, were able to move and move quickly. And so anything that even began in backwater Jerusalem was able to spread very quickly to the ends of Europe, right through into England, into Spain, into North Africa. That those places, though, with the new ideas and new concepts and even the pieces of the New Testament that were being written were able to spread out very quickly across because of the Roman roads and because of the commerce that now developed through those. What we see is that, again, it was an opportune time. After 400 CE, everything changes again. That as the Roman Empire in Europe then descends into anarchy through the barbarian invasions, we see that, in fact, the access now becomes more limited than it was before. That there was less opportunity for doing that. And after 624, when the Muslims begin to move out of Saudi Arabia, it changes the whole complexion of the Middle East and of North Africa as well. There is an opportune time for things to move around on these roads and through the commerce that connected with them. It was an opportune time to share the message of Jesus and to share the good news.